Hi everyone, welcome back to my craft room. If you're new to my craft room, then welcome. Today I got a couple really quick and easy DIYs. It's pretty much everything from Dollar Tree, except for like the paint that I'm using. But I think everything else I got at Dollar Tree. I got these really cool napkins there a while back and I wanted to do something with that. So I'm gonna actually use that on this vase here. And I have some of these really cool picks in this witch hat here I want to stick in there. And I think I'm gonna add some lights to it to make it just a little bit more fun. I love anything that lights up in the fall. Fall through Christmas, I want everything to light up. And then I have one of these candles here. This is one of the LED pillar candles from Dollar Tree. I don't know what these are now. Are these $1.50 now? I think so, probably. But whatever. And these have a coating of wax on them. So I'm going to actually add this other napkin I thought would be fun. This would be great for, like a little Halloween party, kids' table, whatever you want to use it for. It would be a lot of fun just to have this little candle decorated. So, and this is really super, super easy. So the first thing I want to do though is I got all my stuff cut out already. I have my napkins cut out to fit this thing here. You just want to cut out whatever image you want on there and take off the so they're all like a 2-ply napkin, so you want to take off the one, so you just have the 1 ply to work with, and it comes off fairly easy. So then, you have this nice thin napkin to work with. But first I want to paint this. So I'm going to take some of this Waverly plaster color to put on here. It just makes your images pop better, and it's much easier to decoupage these images on when you paint it first. You can paint on glass, but decoupage on glass, but it's really difficult, I find. Sometimes I'll just put on a coat of Mod Podge first and let it dry, and then do the image over it. But I'm just taking some of that paint here and a sponge brush, and I'm not going to make you guys watch me do this whole thing, but I'm just going to take this thing here. I'm going to smear this paint on here really quick. Like I said, real quick, easy project. And then after I do that, I could just go over it and tap it. Makes a nice little texture to it. And then that's it. And I'm just going to do 1 coat on these because we're going to add that image, and I really don't think I need 2 coats on here for this. I think 1 will work out just fine. So that's what I'm going to do with this. So I'm going to finish painting this up and then let it dry. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to start adding that image on here. Alright, this thing's nice and dry now. I'm just setting my napkin on here, trying to get it lined up nice. I'm just going to go over the top of it with Mod Podge because it's the 1 ply of the napkin, so it will soak right through. So I'm trying to smooth this out with my hand here as best I can. So I think that's right about where I want it. So we're just going to start adding some Mod Podge. This is just the gloss Mod Podge. You get this at Dollar Tree too. So like I said, pretty much all this stuff here is from Dollar Tree, except like I said, the paint, and that's about it. So we're just going to go over this thing here real quick. Like I said, this just soaks right through these napkins, real easy peasy. You guys know my favorite DIYs are the easy peasy ones. So we're just going to kind of smooth that down. And a lot of these wrinkles, as it dries, they will just kind of disappear, as long as you work most of them out as you're going. A lot of people use like cellophane and stuff too to smooth it out. But you know what? This is a Halloween one. It doesn't have to be perfect. If it's a little wrinkly, I don't mind, or crackly looking, because some of these small... I'm just going to tuck this stuff right underneath here. Why not? Some of these... I forgot what I was going to say. I lost my train of thought real quick there, like, I don't know. But anyway, I'm going to have to stick my hand in here because that's pretty much the only way I'm going to get to this other side. So there we go. So I like to just start from the middle, work my way across here. You want to use a lot. I use a lot of Mod Podge on here to make sure, you're not pulling on the napkin too hard because, they will rip because you're just using that 1 little tiny ply of napkin. But this is going down pretty well. Some people go for that crackle look, and we're just going to make it as we're going here. But I think this is going to dry up pretty nicely. it doesn't have very many wrinkles in it whatsoever. So there we go. There we go, make sure those words are nice. All right, now to get this guy on here, I think I have it cut just so this will overlap. So make sure I got it all the way even on the top. That's the hardest part, making sure it's all nice and even. But I kind of want that bird to end up like right by that bottle there, because I think that'll blend it in pretty good while we're getting it on here. I think. That's my idea anyway. Yeah, it does. That blends in really well. So that's good. I mean, unfortunately, it wasn't quite big enough to go around and look right, you know. So I had to kind of cut and paste here, if you will. Now we're just going to keep adding the Mod Podge. I'm just going to push them right down over that edge. I think the top edge I'm going to add a little bit of black paint around it just to kind of finish that off a little bit. And I'm hoping, yeah, that's going to match up really good. So I cut it there just so it'll just meet that other side of the napkin without having a gap in it. But you can use any napkin. I mean, you can do this with any napkin. It doesn't even have to be for Halloween if you don't want to. Anything you want. Alright, and we just got this little piece up here and we're done. We're just going to let this dry good. And like I said, I'm going to go around the top with just some black paint, just to kind of finish that off nice. There we go. Now I gotta find something to hold this on. I'm not prepared till this baby dries. If I knew where any of my silicone mats were, you know, since I reorganized my craft room, I don't know where anything is now. When it was a mess, I knew where everything was. Do I have it right over here by any chance? No, I didn't think so. But you know what? I do have a glass one that I could use. So we're just going to set this down on this glass little trivet thing here, just so I can get these ends down. I didn't tell you the size of this thing either. What is this one? I left it on here so I could tell you. It is, I can't see it now, 3.4 inches by 6 inches is what this is. I knew I forgot to say something, but that's what that is. It's a 6-inch tall. And they have these in all different sizes at Dollar Tree, you guys know. Or even better, if you go to like Goodwill, thrift store, they always have tons and tons of glassware that you could, you know, decoupage anything on. All right, so we're going to let this dry. While that's drying, we're going to set this aside here. I want to get my Mod Podge put away there. I'm not throwing that away. All right, you sit right there for a minute. Okay, so now I'm just going to grab this candle here for our other project while that one's drying there. And you're just going to want to take this paper off of it. Now, this is so easy. I hope this isn't going to be too annoying, the noise. That's the only thing with my heat gun. So you're going to need a heat gun or a hair dryer. Works the same way. It really doesn't make any difference. And same thing here. I'm just going to line this napkin up. I pretty much have it, I think, where I want it. I don't want that up on that edge much. And that's just going to fold over there. We're just going to let that overlap. I think I want it to overlap this way. Yes, that'll be good. And then you'll have this cute little image on here that you can light up. Like I said, like anything that lights up. Alright, so you're just going to smooth out your napkin as smooth as you can get it. You're going to want to use one of the finger protectors. You get these at Dollar Tree or lots of other places. You're just going to turn on your heat gun and you're going to hold it there and just go up and down on this thing until, hang on, isn't getting as hot as it should. You can actually, right here you can see some of the wax is starting to come through the napkin. And look how nice and smooth that gets. Hope this isn't too noisy on here. I know sometimes it isn't to me, but with the microphone, it does get noisy. So hold that nice and tight. See how it's starting to get shiny? Right there, that's the wax. And then you'll have a nice wax coating on the outside. Yeah, this thing wasn't that hot when I started. Now it's starting to heat up. I'm not going to I'll finish this off camera because I know this noise has got to be annoying, but see how you just smear the wax around? And now this whole thing here is just, it's coated with wax and it's sealed on. So we're just going to keep going around here with our heat gun and do the same thing, and I'll show you when it's all finished. Alright, I got this thing all on here. I think that looks real cute. It just looks like it's just all in wax. So now for the bottom here, I'm just going to take this little sander. You could use, a lot of times I just use like these nail files from Dollar Tree, but I got this for Christmas, so I'm going to try it out here. And you're just going to kind of want to go down like this around the edges, like so. And then that will cut that off. I'll show you here when we're all done. It's real simple. Since it's just that one ply of napkin, it just comes off so nice and easy. And there you go. That is all done all the way down around the bottom. So that's it for that candle. I just kind of pushed that up there into the wax on the top, and then you have your little candle here, and then you just have a cute little candle to put on your table. So we're just gonna set that little guy over there. I think that's adorable. Now for this, I want to go around the top here. I want to take a little bit of this Waverly ink color here. I need a small sponge brush, which of course I don't have right next to me. Where are you? There we go. I have a bunch of these I got from Temu, these little sponges. Alright, now I need a piece of, where did all my, oh, here's a little piece of napkin I can use to dab this on, because I don't want too much paint on here. I'm just going to tap that right in here in the jar, because we're not using a lot of it, but I just want to kind of like just finish this edge off, and I think that'll look cute. And I'm just going to tap straight down on this. It's real simple. And there you go. And that finishes off. This is still a little bit wet yet, but I want to get this done. I think that looks great. Isn't that cool? All right, so now the only thing I have to do, and I just stuck my hand right in that paint, the only thing I have to do now is get the paint off my hand. And then we're going to take these, good thing I got napkins here, huh? Use that one up for this mess. All right, let me put the lid on this before I stick my hands in anything else. All right, well, luckily I got my thing to stick that brush right into. Out of my way. All right, get that out of my way, get this out of my way. Now the only thing I have to do is take our flowers, get back in there. And I need to get these things off of it though, don't I? I'm gonna rip off, yay. I hate getting these things off these flowers. The little price tags that they have. Let's see if that one's gonna, this one's actually missing a flower, which I didn't notice. There we go. Put that off. Put this leaf back on at least. Yeah, I didn't notice that that was missing. Oh well, at least it's got the leaf to it. You always got to check these at Dollar Tree, because a lot of times they just, you know, they just fall off because they're so crammed together. But we're just going to open these up a little bit. I have this one here. This one's got that silvery skull on it. Just get some of this paper off of here, because it really gets in the way when you're trying to rearrange them here. Alright, there we go. Alright, so we're just going to kind of flip these things around here. And I need a spot. I want my little skull to stick up there. We're just going to stick that right in there. I know my paint's probably not dry yet, but luckily a lot of this stuff is black. And then we have our witch's hat that I want to stick. I'll raise this up here in 1 second, guys. Hang on. Stick that little witch's hat right up there. You're going to stay nice. Turn my skull around. There we go. I think that's cute, just like that. So let me raise that up here. And there we go. And we have our little vase here. But I want to think, I think I want to, let me reverse that. I want to add these lights to it. Because like I said, I love anything that lights up for fall. Now where did my lights go? Come here. I just have these fairy lights. I got a bunch of these from Amazon. They have all kinds. You just look up fairy lights. I believe these have 20 on them. But I'm going to wrap this around my hand here, just so it'll go down here like a spring. Hopefully. And I think my husband's home. Just a guess. Oh, that'll be good right there. All right, let me pause this 1 second and we'll finish this up. All right, my dogs were barking at an imaginary nothing. My husband's not home, so he's out. And as soon as they hear something, they think he's home. But anyway, I put the lights down in here, and I just left the little thingy hanging back here. So let's turn that on, and there you go. Hope you really can't see it. Let's shut these lights off here, guys. So maybe we can at least see it light up a little bit. There you go. Look how that lights up. It just has a nice little glow to it. Lights up nice on the bottom. But isn't that cool? I love this. I think I'm going to try to find another batch of these flowers just to make it a little more full. But this is good enough for now. And yeah, so I love the way that lights up. It's nothing better than some fairy lights. But that is it. That was my little projects here for today that I wanted to share with you guys. And thanks so much for watching, everybody. I hope you enjoyed these little projects. And I'll see you guys all next time. Have a great day, everyone.